Hi, I'm Abby Shu. I am our Executive Vice President and lead the consulting team at Benefactor Group. I'm really excited to be joined today by Hayley Murphy from Detroit Zoo.
Thank you, Abby. My name's Hayley Murphy. I'm actually a veterinarian and CEO and Executive Director here at the Detroit Zoological Society, and we run both the Detroit Zoo and the Belle Isle Nature Center in Detroit, Michigan.
Tell me your origin story, and was there a defining moment when you finally realized I'm a leader?
I certainly loved animals more than anything and wanted to be a veterinarian all of my life, but I didn't realize I had a knack for leading people until I became a zoo veterinarian. And in a zoo, when you're a veterinarian, you have to interact with all sorts of people on different levels that maybe a private practitioner wouldn't. And I would say a turning point for me was COVID-19 and the pandemic. I think becoming a veterinarian taught me how to lead people, and becoming a leader during a crisis taught me how to pivot, be resilient, be empathetic, and still lead from a position of strength.
What would you define as the qualities of outstanding leadership?
Staying true to yourself and being authentic with the people you lead is so important. Being inclusive, it's a delicate balance, I feel like, between being inclusive and empathetic, but also leading with strength and purpose. And so finding that happy balance in the middle is what I think makes great leaders.
How do you decide who's on your team? And when you talk about leadership, how do you decide when it's time for you to be really hands-on versus when maybe it's time to step back and empower others?
I have always leaned into personality first. So I like to surround myself with people who definitely have expertise, but who also understand the value of a team and the value of each other. When I look at my leadership team and empowering them and how hands-on I want to be versus the team, I really believe in staying on the balcony. I like that phrase, the balcony versus the dance floor. At the end of the day, I think leadership really is about growing your team to take your place. So people might think that's strange to say, but I would love it. Any member of my executive team could step up and say, hey, I'm ready to run this organization or run a different organization. I especially love to see women leaders and women of science move into leadership roles, because I think that's something that we know historically, and just by the data still happens, that women have a harder time stepping into executive leadership and getting supported in those roles. And so for me, that really is another passion point, to see women succeed as executive leaders and giving them the tools, opportunities, and resources to do that.
So what's next for Detroit Zoological Society, and where do you see the organization in 1 year, in 5 years, maybe even in 10 years?
This year, we're opening the Fred and Barbara Erb Discovery Trails habitat in the zoo. It's 7 acres of completely amazing new structures, new animal habitats, really a place where our community can come to connect with each other and with animals and nature. So I'm super excited about that. After that, 5 years, we will be celebrating our 100th anniversary in 2028. And so really building that core resiliency as an organization to look ahead to the future. I like to say we're a zoo without borders. So yes, we do a lot within the walls of the zoo and within the walls of the Belle Isle Nature Center, but how can we serve our community outside of those walls, whether that's conservation, One Health initiatives, educational programming, senior programming. So I'm really focused on that, on how we serve our community to the best of our ability and stretch that limit.
Those are big and very exciting plans. And sort of in that vein, leadership can be demanding. How do you find balance in your personal needs, your health, while also supporting the needs of your team and of the mission?
For me, it's family time and travel. I love to travel, and I love spending time with my adult children who live in 2 different states. So for me, that's how I find my balance. But I know that sometimes I have to give that up for short periods of time because we might have something pressing at work. And that's okay, because I know I'll make it up some other time.
We can't not ask, and might have a little bit of a hint, but what's your favorite animal?
So my favorite animal may or may not be obvious. I spent a large portion of my career dedicated to gorillas and then expanded to great apes. And so I started out with gorillas as a veterinary advisor for all of the gorillas in the species survival plan. I then became the veterinary advisor for the great apes. And then I later developed a really well-known international project looking at heart disease in great apes. So it's called the Great Ape Heart Project. So I go back to my roots, and you can see by my decorating theme, my roots are gorillas. I love gorillas. I serve as the vice chair of the board of the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. When I have very stressful days, I go in and look at our gorillas because that's what really fuels my passion.